I want to jump on here today and I want to talk to you about how to stop a spiral of negative thoughts. We're deep into first week of the shift and so much beautiful stuff is happening already, and getting to know each of the girls this week and the things they're struggling with. This was a common theme that really came up, and I think especially because of what's been happening this year, and that was a sentiment shared between many of them, that COVID and all of these restrictions and the changes in how we live our lives and maybe even do our jobs has been a real battle when it comes to our mental health. So I want to offer this video today to help you end or stop a negative spiral of thoughts, or when you catch yourself in that sort of just train of feeling like it's just one thought after the other, that's not helpful. So first things first, to stop a negative spiral or getting out of that state of just constant worry or stress, is you need to create awareness. So you need to actually notice you're in the spiral of negative thoughts. So you want to notice that, and you will, because you want to stop this, right? You'll have that moment where you realize, I'm stressing out, I'm freaking out, I wish this would stop. The moment you have that, I wish this would stop, you're dropping into another part of you that can be aware of the fact that you're on autopilot, letting your mind and your thoughts run away with you. So first things first, you have to create that awareness. And another way to really create that awareness is also then to drop into your body and connect with any sensations that you're feeling now that you've dropped out of the actual thinking, and you realize, how do I feel when I've been stressing out, freaking out, worrying in this sort of cycle of negative thoughts, and create awareness of how does that feel in my body? What sensations do I feel? Is my heart racing? My palms sweaty? And I also like to notice how when I drop back into that state of awareness, when I can see I'm thinking, I almost feel like I've come out of my head and I kind of come back down to reality. Just really noticing those physical process that comes along with that awareness, seeing how you can see that you are no longer in the thoughts. And then just really start to observe it. This really helps you disconnect from the actual thoughts, is really observing that state. So in your body and the fact that your mind is running away with you. The second thing is, after you've caught yourself in that cycle, you've connected and you've made yourself aware of the fact that I was letting my mind run away with me. Number two is connect to what is real. Now, despite how the thoughts might feel, when you're experiencing, your thoughts are not real. They're all made up. They are mental events, and they are made up of tiny little bits of information from things that you've heard, things you've seen, things you've experienced, things you saw on social media, gossip you heard, news you've read, social media you've seen. And it's just this kind of collection of information that your mind puts together to inform you about something you're experiencing or seeing. And this is not always that fun. So just remember, your thoughts are not real. What is real is the present moment. So how do we connect to the present moment? Most simple, beautiful way to do that is to give the attention you're giving to your thoughts to your breath. So turn away all of the energy you're giving to your thoughts and turn it into your breath, and be really present for what does it feel like when I take a deep breath in, feel your chest expand. What does it feel like when I breathe out, let the chest contract, and just follow your breath. Or as my meditation teacher says, drench your breath in your awareness. Follow the breath in and out for at least 10 breaths, and take deep breaths. That's a beautiful way to drop into the present moment. Another way is to really start to notice your environment. When you've been in your thinking mind, you're up here and kind of out in space. So come back to reality. If you're sitting at your desk and you've been, doing something but you're off thinking, come back and look at your computer, touch your keyboard, touch your table. What does the table feel like? Start to use your senses to really sense the present moment and what is around you right now. Connect back down to something that's real and in the physical world. The third thing I want you to do after you've made your awareness, connected back to the present moment, realize what it was that triggered you. Now, were you reading the news? Were you on a social media app? Were you having a conversation with family or friends? Were you in the middle of paying your bills? Were you worrying about the future? Starting to recognize, what was my trigger? Because what we want to know now is, okay, if these are the things that really set me off into a state of negative thinking, how can I then, number 4, create a boundary or a reframe so that this isn't something that affects me, or I can limit my exposure so I have less of these moments of being caught in a negative spiral. So in the case of being the news and social media, or a conversation with family and friends, how can you create a healthy boundary that removes or restricts your access to that trigger? So in that situation, we might be, having a conversation with a family member or a friend to say, listen, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Can we please not talk about COVID? And it might be in the sense of, and this is actually step number 5, so the two of them are combined here, but in step 4, so creating that healthy boundary, in your social media and your news, like if it's a social media app, like consider just deleting it, and you don't have to do that permanently. Just take it off your phone. Unfollow pages that make you feel stressed out and freak out. Don't read the news. You won't die from not knowing what's happening every single second of the day. Like take yourself out of that situation, create a boundary around it. Maybe I get 5 minutes a day or once a week or something like that. Paying the bills. Now this is a challenging one, especially if this is something that's really triggered off, stress and anxiety. But how can you reframe how you are viewing this part of your life? Now, I understand that money can be tight and paying the bills can be stressful. I've been there, and I'm currently also experiencing that with you right now. A beautiful reframe that I learned a long time ago, and it can be challenging to do, is to actually be grateful for the fact that you have bills. Now, what does that mean? And how do I do that when I haven't got enough money to make this work? We can be grateful for the fact that we have power and a bill that we need to pay. We're not in a house that we've got candles on only. We have water. We have, we have a credit card that we can buy the food on, It's not maxed yet. I have still got a phone. I can still call my loved ones. How can you reframe the bills just for now to take that edge off and stop the negative spiral? How can I be grateful for the fact that I've got the bills? And then if you're freaking out about the future, then you've got to come back to the present. The future, we don't know what's going to happen. We're never going to know. The only thing you can control and have ability to experience is the present moment. So come back to now. So go back to number 2, connect to what's real. Breathe, touch your physical environment. Focus on what you can control in this moment. And that kind of leads on to step 5, which I've already really talked about what that is, but it's take some kind of inspired action immediately. So once you've made yourself aware that you've been in a spiral and you're like, oh shit, there I go again, and you've come back and you've found a way to sort of like slow your heart rate down, slow down the mind a little bit, find a little space, get connected to the present moment and the things around you, you've recognized your trigger, you've figured out, all right, this is how I could probably limit having this trigger so in my life. Then the 5th one is to take that inspired action, but to take it straight away. So like I said, that social media, like to unfollow, delete the app for a bit. You can always come back when things are different. Stop listening to the podcast. I have a friend, I know that she gets very stuck on these podcasts that don't make her feel good. So, you can come back to them later, find something more inspiring, listen to music instead. And then, have those hard conversations with family, and they can be really difficult because a lot of people are stressing out right now and they need to vent and they need to work through it. But how can you lead by example and just say, listen, this doesn't make me feel good. I want to focus on what I can control rather than what I can't. I don't want to talk about these things anymore. If you want to talk about, what we can do, I'd love to have those conversations with you. Like protect yourself in that way. And then just see, in that case of money, where can you get more resourceful? Like, it's not easy. How can you save a little bit of money? How can you make something stretch? How can you get creative? Just to take the tiniest bit of edge off that stress of paying bills each month. So that's my 5 steps for you on how to stop a negative spiral and how to just remove yourself from that insane process that kind of can really feel like, and especially at the moment, something that just won't quit. And they're the 5 steps that you can take to just really get out of here, drop into this state of like, what's here now and what can I do now that I'm here? I hope that you found that helpful. I would love to hear what you thought, how things are for you. Are you currently feeling this inability to sort of switch off from everything going around, I'd really love to know. And if you feel that there's anyone that in your life that might need to see this video, please do share that with them. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.